You are phenomenal with crowd work.
Oh, thank you. I try to be.
Was so impressed. Like, we've seen your clips.
Sure.
And, like, sometimes you watch the clips and you're like, is that real? Did he plant that person?
Oh,
and
yeah.
like,
People always think that.
Yeah.
It would be so much work to do that. I think maybe 10% of people would do that. Maybe. Yeah.
I think we're too, like, I come from a little bit the influencer world where, like, a lot of those interviews completely fake.
Oh, for
a
sure.
lot of those, like...
all those on the street interviews, they're all fake.
They're all staged.
I know most
Every single one of them.
I won't say the name, but there's someone who does that in New York. It's all comedians they're talking to, and they have pre-planned bits they do.
Yep.
Which is whatever. It's funny, but it is not real. Yeah.
Yeah, if the entertainment is there, but I feel like with stand-up, like, social media is very different than stand-up.
Sure,
I feel like there's just more like respect around, hey, you're getting up in front of people to like talk for 5 minutes, and the expectation is that you have to be funny.
Yeah.
Ouch.
You can't cut, you can't edit. It's it's just there. Yeah.
That was one thing that I tried to implement in my like show, and I just thought I didn't do it well.
Sure.
I basically
What did you did one little thing. What was it?
I just talked shit. This guy was wearing a beanie, and when I walked in, I had one moment that I was like, I need to find someone and just like be able to throw like one quick diss.
Oh
and
yeah,
so this guy
that's good. That's good instincts.
This guy was wearing a beanie, and it looked pretty natural, but I had it pre-planned. But I was like, yo, like that guy, like with the condom on top of his head, it was really tight.
Sure.
And it got some laughs.
Well.
But
I'm sure that did well.
Yeah, it was
that's
okay.
a good line. Yeah, that's a good line.
But then watching you in Houston was insane. Like the ideas that you come up with, and even your clips are like, what the fuck?
I'm trying to remember which show you guys were at, because there were some wild.
It was the dude with the snakes.
Oh, the snake people.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that was a weird one. You guys friends from work, or how do you know each other?
We met on the side of the highway.
No.
Snake hunt.
You snake hunt? Is that a big thing in Texas, or they're weird, right? What type of snakes are you catching? Just, hey, man, snake, I get my hands off. Sometimes I even catch this snake right here. So is Mexico big snake hunting ground?
Well, it's on the border.
It's on the border. I mean, Texas and Mexico, they're basically the same thing with Joe Biden as president. Am I right? Am I right? I don't actually think that. Okay. Calm down. How did you get into this? Trauma, right? Childhood trauma. It's not because you were too happy as a kid. But you ever got bitten by a poisonous one? He has? That's why he doesn't really make too many facial expressions. Yeah. Which one got you? There's cobras here? I don't know. I'm not big in the snake hunting community. You can't be like, no, you idiot. You don't know the regional snakes people hunt? You East Coast scum. You just can't relate to the proletariat of middle America.
That was so funny, because I feel like you heard that and you were like, this could not have gone any better.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Yes.
That one was perfect. There are some times where you're like, when you ask someone, oh, how'd you two meet? Oh, we met catching snakes in Mexico. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm just like, thank you. It's
like,
not some
hey, I'll write you
lame,
a
like,
check
I
after
work
this.
in
Like,
IT or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, if I can't make that funny, I have to quit, in my opinion.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's something like that, I mean, it was funny, and I'm glad, but like, that was a softball to me.
Oh.
I think that was when they have a weird response, I think it's easier, actually. I think it's harder to make it funny if some guy's like, I work in accounting. I think that's much harder to make funny, actually.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
I feel opposite. I think if someone were to say that to me, I wouldn't even know where to go with that. I'd be like, snake hunting? What do I know about snake hunting?
That is true. I think you
like,
can just play off of that. Like, what is that? That's crazy. I think people like that.
You turn into like question master.
That's true.
You can turn into like an interviewer sometimes, like interrogation sometimes a little bit. That's what a lot of crowd work is just asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
like a lot of people just ask like, how'd you meet? What do you do? Which can be funny, but when you ask people like, what's your favorite sex position? What's your dirty talk song? Like that's when they get like in more specific questions. That's when the crowd work gets better, I think.
Oh, okay. So that's what I was gonna ask is like, do you have tips? I've, with the Sisyphus doing the open mics, I've debated making a return.
Oh yeah, you should.
Not to like become a comedian, but more just like I just like putting myself in situations where I'm either gonna fucking fall on my face or
face of fear.
But crowd work has always I think sometimes I think really slow.
Sure.
Or thinking slow sends me down a spiral of like, I need to say something like, what am I going to say? It has to be funny. It has to be entertaining. And then I just lock up.
Right. Yeah. I think the key to crowd work is that like once you have to do it a few times to figure this out. But I think the crowd gives you the bar to being funny is lower for crowd work. The crowd like recognizes that you're like doing this on the fly. So they'll laugh at things that if you had written them down, maybe wouldn't be that funny, but they give you a slack. They're like, oh, he's doing this on the spot. It's kind of fun. We'll give him a little more leash to run with or whatever.
Yeah.
So then, and also the fact that once you get comfortable on stage, you are funnier and smarter than the people in the crowd. So you'll always be able to beat them at their game.
Got
like
it.
And like people get so nervous when you call on them. They like will always say something stupid.
Yeah.
Like they don't even mean to do it, but most people never get on stage after they graduate high school or whatever. So they get so scared when you call on them, they're going to say something stupid that you can make funny. It's just, it happens every show.
Well, it puts the spotlight on
it. It puts the spotlight on them and they're like, and then they say something that might not even be true, but it's like funny and honest.
Snakes.
And like snakes. That guy probably didn't mean to tell me that.
He walked out, he was like, I don't do that.
Or like,
why'd I say
either
that?
it's not true or he's like, God, I said I wouldn't talk about the snakes, but I did it, and he did it.
That's what I thought. Like I was full thinking like that guy's fucking with him. Like,
I think that guy was honest. I think those guys were honest.
Crazy.
Those were weird, like Texas dudes. Yeah. They were weird. They probably didn't mean to come in there and talk about that.
Yeah.
I think that was the nerves, probably.